Like that's what I'm saying. Jesus is about it, and he uses some like lingo where you are not mistaking what he's saying. Jesus is sharp, man. Like I always try to see people in the world the way Jesus would, but I also respect it, and I love it when he gets pissed off. He calls people out. I don't even know how many times he's quoted as saying, "You hypocrites, breed of vipers." He's about it. He turned tables over in the temple. But I get those feelings sometimes, a lot of the time, where I want to be going and turning tables over in temples, table turning. But he was Jesus, and he got away with it. My mom actually told me, the pastor at the church they go to now, who I loved before he passed away, he said, imagine what that would be like now. The pastor used the example of the big mall here. So like imagine the biggest mall in your city where you live. The synagogue or the temple, that would have been more of a place where religious events were happening. It's supposed to be that way, but you know, it was like a market. It was like people wheeling and dealing, and that's not how it started out. You know, our malls are a place of retail and commerce, and it was never a holy site, but that was the square. That's where everybody went. That's where everyone hung out. That's where business was conducted. It wasn't a place of worship anymore, or maybe if it wasn't just, that was the least activity probably that happened there. So when Jesus saw it, it's like my Father's house, he went in and just like threw tables, money, things, products, goods, everything's flying through the air. To make the comparison, the pastor says it would be like somebody walking into the biggest mall that you live near, proclaiming to be the Son of God, and then walking through the whole thing, just turning everything over. Not just that, though. It's not just that somebody would do that, because what would happen in that day and age and in this day and age if somebody did something like that? The cops would haul you to jail. That didn't happen to Jesus, because God willed it. It was huge. It was a huge, bustling place, and most of the people there did not believe that he was the Son of God. His own family thought he was nuts. That's one of my favorite passages. His own family did not believe in him. And one day I was feeling really just so misunderstood by the world, and I looked up Bible verses, something about Bible and feeling misunderstood, and this awesome article was like, here's this guy that comes to save the world. He's rejected by everyone. He's rejected by his own people. Even his own family thought he was insane. And I was like, that makes me feel so much better, because my family thinks I'm insane all the time. But you know, when Jesus was here and he was gathering his disciples, he said, follow me. And those are my favorite 2 words in the whole Bible, because it's that simple. They were fishing and he said, put down your poles. I will make you fishers of men. All he said was follow me. That was it. That was all of the rules. And in order to do that, you had to be willing to put down your fishing poles and leave what you had. Leave your material possessions. That is part of the cross that you carry. To be attached to this world and the physical things of this world, you know, these things don't last. Part of being a Christian or being a disciple for Christ is knowing that and being able and willing to do that, or else you cannot be his. He says it. He says, unless you're willing to do these things. He even says this one part about unless you are willing to hate your mother and your father and your even your own life, then you cannot be my disciple. And that sounds harsh, but what he's saying is, in the end of the day, your mother or your father, they might not choose me. They might try to tell you, if you're going to be a Christian, then we disown you. So he's saying, who will you pick? Will you pick me, or will you pick your parents? So that's why he's saying, if you don't hate, if you aren't willing to hate, and then even your own life, people are, even right now, this very second, I'm sure, in this world, are being persecuted for being Christians. And they always have been, and the Bible says they always will be, and that sure is right on. Just like the Bible says history will repeat itself, empires will fall. Like, you know, entropy is like a biblical concept. It's not like this thing that physics thought of. You could call it a law of science or a law of nature, but it's also right there in the Bible, and it was saying that, you know, however many thousands of years ago, up to just like the last 3,000 or 3,500 or something to, I don't know what, 10,000, I have no idea. The Bible says that shit's gonna keep getting crazier. It doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that everyone's going to be happy. It says that, like, you know, Act 1, everybody gets to have these awesome, prosperous lives as long as you, like, do what God asked you to do. Okay, you guys didn't do what God asked you to do. Now shit's going to get real, and it's going to stay real until the end of the play. That's what the Bible says. The Bible doesn't say everybody's supposed to have really happy lives, and it also doesn't say that being a Christian is supposed to be easy. So I guess I think that if it's easy to be a Christian, then you're not doing something right. Take up your cross and follow me. That's what Jesus says. He doesn't say skip along after me.